Hi, welcome back everyone. So today's project is a continuation of a previous video that I posted some time ago where I cleared this area behind me. Just to recap, it was very shady and very dry. It was shady because I had grapevine growing in this corner along with some raspberry canes and other bits and pieces that was just crowding out all the plants that I had there. Equally, I have a very well established cherry tree here, which was sucking up a lot of the moisture, as well as my neighbour's trees, which are also sucking up the moisture. So I have decided to place a raised bed within the border. So I've done this before in different areas of the garden, so I know it will work. It basically creates a nice planting area so that the plants will be able to suck the water before it goes too deep, and then the cherry tree obviously will suck up the remaining water. And the second reason is if I were to plant plants that are quite larger varieties, I would hit some roots and therefore it limits what I can plant in the corner. So by creating the raised bed, I have now a deeper area in which to plant. So I hope you join me on this video. Let's get started. Okay, just to give you a quick view of it, I have dug up a number of plants which I have in pots, and I temporarily put these here so that I can decide what I'm going to do with them. I have left my canna in this area because I don't have a pot large enough in which to place it, but that shouldn't stop the project. I'll explain a bit in a while what I'm going to do with those. And also a number of these plants are going to come out, but again the size of the border, I can leave these in for a little bit longer and then remove them. The canopy above has got quite a lot of space there, so hopefully the pigeons' droppings won't drop in that particular area. Unfortunately, they continue to drop here, but hopefully I'll be able to cut back my neighbour's tree soon. One thing to consider before you measure up is that you shouldn't do the bed too large, that it's encroaching on the tree. So large established trees don't like to have things resting too close to their roots. So it's best to just give at least 30 centimetres away from the main trunk. So I'm going to measure up and then I'll show you the wood that I have. Okay, so I've decided to do a metre, and it's a nice evenly shaped square, which will fit perfectly in this corner. Okay, some of you will be familiar with this type of wood. It is treated gravel board. So gravel board is used at the bottom of fences, and they're long lasting and durable and strong enough to hold soil in or out of a garden. So that's why I've decided to use this type of wood. So you can see here where I've done this before. Again, the reason I placed this raised bed originally was for the exact same reason that I'm going to be placing a raised bed in that corner. It creates a nice raised area to plant established plants where I won't hit the roots. Those of you who would like something that will last even longer than gravel board, this is another alternative. So this is the size of railway sleepers, and again it's been treated. I'll just come into this bed here. This is my shady spot, and I have placed this raised bed here for the same reason as I've just given you. I've got acer trees here, and I couldn't dig these established plants into the soil, so I raised them up, and then it creates lots of nice tiers. That's just a side view so that you could see a little bit clearer. Here you go. So this is my shady spot. You can just about see the wood there, but all the ferns now are so well established you can barely see the raised bed, and it does create a nice level higher to the flat base here. So I am lucky that I do have the equipment to cut the wood quickly and easily. So of course you could do this with a normal handsaw. You could, a lot of wood merchants will cut the wood for you. Sometimes they charge a small fee, but it's well worth getting it precision cut. So then that way you know everything's going to fit together with the measurements that you want. So I will cut the wood and then we'll pop it in place to make sure we're happy before I start putting everything together. Okay, what you see here in front of you, it's not fixed or anything. It was just to get an idea of the size to make sure that I'm happy. I have to remove the trellis because of course it's making the box not fit as it should do. And just one little thing that I've realised, I haven't got the corner posts. So that's not going to stop me from finishing this. One thing I think some of you may already be realising is I don't stop until something's done, or I just literally run out of light. So I'm going to find a way of putting all these pieces together. Now remember, it will be under soil, so you won't see whatever I decide to put as the fixings. The other thing is I could actually slightly drill into the fence for greater stability, but once it's filled with soil and plants, it won't move. So here we are. I'm up on the deck because of course you need a nice flat surface so you know when you're putting everything together it's going to be nice and square. So if you have a set square, do use it because it just helps keep everything at a right angle in the corners. So first of all, I placed some pilot holes all the way along the edges, top, bottom, all the way around, and I screwed the two boards in together. Now to make this stronger, normally you would put corner posts, a nice sort of 1 inch by 1 inch corner posts. I didn't have any, so I've cut some of the gravel board just to make a small piece to connect the two boards together, just to make it a lot stronger and firmer. And now I've done that all the way around and I am ready to place this now in the correct position. All finished, all in position. I've moved the soil a little bit around, got it nice and raked in. I've levelled it off as best as I can. I'm going to show you now and then we're ready to plan for the next stage. Here it is. So as I've said, I have moved the soil around a little bit just to get it as straight as possible. You might not be like me and you might think, well, rose bed, place it in, all done. But over time, sometimes I look at things and can see things aren't straight and it starts to annoy me. All my sleepers in this garden is not straight. I did this myself about 15 years ago. It was done as a quick thing, a quick fix, and it just stayed. This one should last another probably 6-7 years, if not longer. So I do have some compost. I do have some plants around the garden which I have found that are in pots that would be perfect in this position. Let's have a look. Right, first plant that would look really nice in that corner is a hydrangea. So hydrangeas, macrophylla, do really well in shade to dappled sun. So I think this would look really good there. So I'm going to pick it up in its pot, place it over there and see what you think. There's the hydrangea in place. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon, so you can see where the sun is hitting the fence. So it will be mostly on one side, mostly in shade, and then the rest of the day in dappled sunlight. So I think it's going to be really happy there. It's been in similar conditions in its previous location. The top of the pot is just going to be slightly lower on the soil level, so it'll just drop slightly, but you can see there's some lovely shoots growing up, so I think it will roughly be about that height once it's filled out. So this has been in this pot just for 1 year. I planted it the end of last summer, so it can come out now, and I'll pop it in there. An interesting thing that I've just realised, silly Billy me, placed that lovely hydrangea in a pot which is curved inwards, which has a small hole on its opening. Not sure if I'll be able to squeeze the plant out of that pot without breaking it. Fingers crossed. Wow, that was a struggle, but I managed to get it out. There it is. Wow, so I am absolutely exhausted, but guess what? I'm going to get the soil, I'm going to pop it in its position and have a little look. There it is in place. I've just placed some fresh compost, positioned it, moved it around to make sure that I was happy with it there, and now we've got to go around the rest of the garden just to see what other things we've got that may be suitable for this position. I've been around the garden and I have the fern that I pulled out as part of the first part of this project. I found two heucheras, lovely colours that go well together. They both like shade or dappled sun, so I think they'll be quite happy there. And of course this small fern that I had purchased for somewhere else, which I think equally will look quite nice there because that will be mostly in the shade and it will soften the edges of the borders of this raised bed. I've also found this Houtunelia. There we are. Now this was going to go somewhere else. It is happy in sun to part shade. I'm going to leave it in its pot just to see if it gets enough sun, but I think this combination will look quite nice together. So I think that's it for today. I will let the water settle in and then I'll probably top it off again because obviously the soil sinks down into its position, and then make sure that everything's lovely and firmed in place. So a quick recap. I've made the bed up, I've placed the soil in with the plants that I moved from other spots in the garden and that were in temporary pots. So overall I'm really pleased with the project. It probably took me about 3.5 to 4 hours to complete. We'll just have another quick look. I have topped up with some fresh soil. I've got 2 heucheras, a fern at the back, which was not far from this position before, and then another really small fern here. Now this plant I had earmarked for somewhere else in the garden. I'm still debating whether or not to leave it here or place it in its original destination. So I do hope you have found this video useful. If you'd like to join me for future videos, please do subscribe and click the bell button, make any comments, and I do hope to see you next time. Take care now, bye.